Good morning everyone, 17th of May, Wednesday, 19 past 10 a.m. in Australia. Video blog number 22. Anyone that was following my last couple of days, I suppose I was quite open about just a little investment that I made in regards to some superannuation, in theory, some superannuation money that I wanted to put down for to support some long-term, short-term goals. Now, I decided to go and support the graphene-based cryptocurrencies because I'm starting to get some clarity, and I'm going to read you out some news today in regards to some other coins, and it really got me starting to think that it's time to look past the hype, and it's time to look past all the pumps and dumps. Unless you're in that sector of the market and that's your thing, I'm sort of not. I'm not really interested in that type of speculation. So what I'm doing is really narrowing down on the coins and the blockchains and the development teams that are really going to stand strong in the next 2 years, where I don't like using the word shit coins, but the coins that might be there just for the money. I think there are some scam coins. There's no doubt there's a lot of coins that don't have a base and a foundation, and I can't see them going beyond 4 or 5 years, and I think that people may do well at the beginning, but they're not going to do well in the long term because there's nothing there. There's no substance. So I'm going to read you a few things, but just yesterday I spent a whole day holding on to my money because I just couldn't make a decision because 3 coins had pumped, and it was challenging my protocol and my I suppose my discipline, or basic discipline, in regards to when I invest. I don't like buying in on a really big high or on a pump. If you're at the beginning of a pump, that's all right, and sometimes we get lucky and you can sell and you can make a nice little margin, but it's not quite my thing. I've done it a few times and it can be fun, but I've also stuffed it up a few times. So it's not something I go around recommending. You need a lot of years of experience, and it's more experience than I could deliver you in one video. So, however, just on the left-hand side here of me on the screen here, I've just got the DigiByte chart up on Bittrex. Now it has gone absolutely ballistic. Now I put my super down at the bottom here, right at the bottom. So after 24 hours of feeling stressed and frustrated, not being able to make a decision, I went, okay, I'm putting it in Steam. I'm going to go BitShares. I've already bought some peer plays. I'm going to save some money for EOS. I'm really behind the Larimer boys. I really think that they've got a lot of base. When you go and look up Bitgate as well, you can see that there's a future there. And the other side of it is, have a little bit of a dabble or a little bit of speculation into some of the coins that I feel that are completely undervalued. One of them is DigiByte. If you have a look at DigiSign, DigiByte, what they're doing with gaming, what they're doing with information storage, you have a look at the websites, you have a look at their future plans, what they've built so far. There's a foundation there. Will it go to $100? I don't think so. I'm not sure. Will it go to $1? It's possible, highly possible. So I thought, I'm going to get in and I'm going to buy in and put a lot of my super down, or this block of money down onto this DigiByte and see where it went. And I got lucky. You only get lucky based on what you realise in regards to profit, and so far it's up 300% overnight. So anyone that's watching this, it's maybe worth allowing DigiByte to settle down and just keep your eye on the news. I do think that it's an overinflated pump group of some sort, because I've been in the telegrams, I've been in the chat rooms, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of news. So it's another one of those groups getting in there with big money, pumping it up and inflating it. I mean, I'm not complaining. I think it will create some new momentum for DigiByte and pretty much set a new level for it where it should be at the current time. And when they make some new announcements in the future, then we can expect something greater. So that was DigiByte. What I wanted to do was get on to talking about Ripple. Now, I've got a couple of articles here, and one of the articles is what on earth is going on with Ripple. Now, Ripple, to me, is a bit of a moral clash in regards to the old decentralised and centralised. And if people don't know what that means, is that current system we've got doesn't work. The fiat monetary system is pretty much a Ponzi scheme. For the last 100 years has been one of the biggest scams ever, and it's infiltrated all our governments across the world. And I mean, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole right now, but if you want to, you need to go and understand what's going on. Everything's pretty much a lie, and what we're watching is a change in the monetary system, and it's going to happen in the next 2-3 years. It's already happening, but there's going to be a major switch when the mainstream wakes up and starts to recognise that it's happening. Now, Ripple is the banker's coin. A lot of people don't like it because it's decentralised, and there's 100 billion coins set aside for the future, and there's also, I think some of the developers have got 10 billion coins in their pocket. So there's a lot of liquid coins out there which could potentially be flooded onto the market and affecting the price, and that's why a lot of people have stayed away from Ripple. However, all we've seen in the last 3 months is this consistent up in price, and what I think is happening is we're seeing a flooding of liquid cash from the big banks, and I think they're systematically using bots of some sort and just buying in at certain times, and they might be using their liquid Ripple to maintain a steady upkeep of the price. And what happens is it's great marketing for Ripple. If it's always at the top of the charts, always has healthy gains, it does get a lot of people interested in it, and I think it's a part of their marketing ploy to keep Ripple at the top of the list. So it's something worth considering. I don't have any big proof on that. It's just something that I feel that is possibly happening. So what is on earth is going on with Ripple? And there was a really good article here. And I'm just going to read it out to you very quickly, and I think I might do a little bit more of this for people who don't get the chance. This is on cryptocoinnews.com. Wouldn't it be nice to wake up every day and see your money doubled and then again and again? Welcome to the Ripple, the latest to go parabolic in a musical chair that started with Monero some months ago and seems to be going around digital currencies. And we're seeing a lot of coins go up and up. I think the strong coins will shine in the long run, just remember that. Ripple seemingly did not want to be left out, and so far their show is most spectacular, up 10 times in just 2 weeks, rising in market cap from insignificant to an incredible near 13 billion at the time of writing, almost half of Bitcoin's market cap. Just get your head around that. That is huge news. Half of Bitcoin market cap. It has surpassed Ethereum, the cool new kid, and it's now sort of saying to the whole space, look at me, I'm the story now, sure, I'll oblige. Now, that's what I'm talking about. I think it's a marketing ploy. I think they're flooding the market and sustaining and supporting the price, and I think there'll be some back-end dealing going on in regards to coins. Buy a little bit, we give you a percentage, lift the price, buy a bit, because they've got that 100 billion coins sitting there. What are they doing with it? I reckon they're using it. This parabolic rise began shortly after April 26, when Ripple announced in a press release 10 banks had joined following a previous press release on March the 1st that stated 47 Japanese banks moved towards commercial phase using Ripple. That's 47. So that's a lot of money. Interestingly, Japan apparently has more than 198 banks, although only around 35 are listed on Wikipedia. Not that you use Wikipedia for anything. Anyway, it sounds like great news for the Japanese, so they might be driving this price rise, but according to the coin market cap, only around 2 million out of the 300 million in trading comes from Japan. So that means that all the banks collectively that are involved, and probably some other major big investors, we could be talking Rothschilds and some of these people who have got trillions. I can't I'm just speculating, but I think there is no doubt the club would be definitely involved in some way. Getting back to the article, moreover, and somewhat puzzlingly, Ripple is trading at half its current price in Japan, with one Ripple going for 0.17 in JPY, while other currencies traded for around 33 as of writing. So Japan is clearly not the driver. Instead, it appears Poloniex and South Korea are leading. There isn't much other news from what I can see. So what's driving the price if there's no other news? Well, what is driving the price? It's purely money. So they've got capital backing, they've got a strategy, and I think that's what's going on. Rather than a big pump and dump, what they're doing is long-term growth, and they're doing that by feeding it. At this time, Ripples were just given away. Let me just skip through this. All right, so we're talking about who's got this extra bag full of liquid Ripples. So you've got Jed McCaleb is holding 10 billion. 20 billion are held within the founders as a collective, and there's another 60 billion out of a total 100 billion is held by Ripple Labs, a centralized company registered within FinCEN as a money transmitting business which runs the vast majority of Ripple's consensus network. So there's a lot of coins out there which could just mysteriously find themselves on the market, causing some major disruption to the price, and I think that's what people are scared of in regards to putting their own big nest eggs or making any major commitment to Ripple. So in saying that, I have got some money in Ripple. I'm just riding the wave. Do I look at it as a long-term something I'm passionate about? No. That's where the graphenes come in. So make sure you look up those: Steam, BTS, EOS, Bitgate is going to be a collective governing body sort of thing. But anyway, there's more. What was the other one? Peerplace. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more forks. But let's have a look. Going down here. So we've watched the price rise, and this is what the last paragraph's of interest. So dare I say pump and dump? No, but I would strongly caution readers because historically Ripple does not hold any price appreciation, as the currency is very centralized and the super vast majority of its supply is held by only a very few. Plus, most do not consider it interesting, and it's a bit of a hassle. So the whole system's a bit of a hassle. The market has already considered Ripple many times and it has rejected it. That's people like you and me. We reject it because it's centralised and we don't really like the banks. There appears to be nothing different this time, so it's not clear why it wouldn't be rejected again, with the event probably being just a 5 minutes of fame before being going back into irrelevance like Monero, Dash, and now maybe Litecoin too. So he's made a bit of a reference here to those other big coins as being, they did go up and then they just sort of hovered there. I don't have a lot of money in those other ones. I've just got pocket money in there just in case they go. They don't really interest me. I don't really see them as having a future, and there's people speculating about Dash. I'm not too sure if they're going to come up with the goods. And Litecoin and Monero just look like stores of energy. That's all they're going to be. They don't really have a long-term plan for adoption at a major level throughout the world. That's how I see it. Dash has got promises. Are they going to deliver? Not sure. But at the end of the day with Ripple, I'm concerned that it's going to be something that's going to struggle at some stage in the next few years. It could get up to $1, $2, and once we've got all these coins out on the market, if no one really gets invested in it and doesn't set a value of faith, because that's what currencies rely on, I don't think it's going to go anywhere close to where Ethereum and all these others are, but I could very much be wrong. So it's worth having a little bit, maybe putting it aside and seeing where the roller coaster takes us. Then I've got another article here, because I found that really interesting, and what I got out of this really was the fact that it's time to look past the hype. It's just time to look past the coins that have no long-term value in regards to their business planning and their development teams, and you've got to also go with what people want. You know, people want decentralized systems, and I think that's what community rules. That's simple as that. If you've got a strong community and people want to be a part of that community, that's where the success is. So there's another article here. Why did I bring this one up? I think it's got to do with, they're just talking about speculation and explosive growth. But that was the main one that I wanted to share with you. I had a little bit of a win on DigiByte so far. It's worth having some interest and reading into it. Ripple seems to be something to watch. I think there's going to be some gains. Like I said, it's time to look past all the hype and start really getting behind the coins that have long-term value, in my opinion. So yeah, especially the graphene ones. But that's all I've got to share with you today. I hope that added a little bit of value to your perspective, and yeah, tune into the next one. Thanks guys for your support.